conference at the Diplomatic Center in St. Anne's. A quick review of some of the
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Prime Minister's press conference on COVID-19. It's 3:39 in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome on board Politics 2020. Our late start was due to the Prime Minister's press conference. You can catch us live on RCL U975 FM. That's on YouTube. Courtesy Shiva Paris Ram. We are also streaming live on the World Wide Web. And we are on Facebook, 975 Multicultural Radio. And as usual on a traditional radio band of 975 FM. This is Aunt Dookie in your company until 6 p.m. with Politics 2020. 9 days before general elections, 9 days to go. You can call me in and tell me what are your thoughts on the general elections upcoming. We plan to discuss today, to have a discussion with Senator Tarakwa Obika, if I can catch him on the campaign trail. Promised to give me an interview. Also, I was supposed to reach Indira Sajiwan Maharaj, Dr. Maharaj, speaking on agriculture and where campaigners make promises to the population. You know, all parties find groundbreaking ways to engage grassroots supporters during their campaign, from unforeseen promises to handouts. It's the norm, just like the wearing of face masks and social distancing is the new norm. But you, the voters, you have to stay balanced and grounded. It's a challenge for all political parties. Today I was reading Dr. Varma Dayal Singh, psychologist, on the psychological effects of campaigning and the effects it has on supporters. Dr. Dayal Singh referred to the verbal abuse in politics sometimes that our leaders engage in. The goodly doctor pointed out, who has been a guest on 10 to 1 already, that despite verbal abuse meant to malign candidates, they still go out and cast their vote. Those candidates still go out and win. What is responsible for that? And among our COVID discussions, I promised yesterday to get into the details of why asymptomatic COVID-19 cases events even happen. The biggest challenge in studying symptom-free transmission is figuring out how it happens. The truth is, if you don't feel sick, you are not likely to get tested. Researchers are racing to understand how these sneaky cases develop. They predict that they might be spreading COVID-19. Part of the problem is knowing so little about how the disease manifests. We know that people who are old, obese, or have other health conditions such as asthma or diabetes are more likely to develop a severe form of COVID-19. But the people who get infected yet escape the worst of its wrath and are harder to comprehend. Health officials are concerned about why some people who test positive for the coronavirus never feel sick. Could it be the luck of genetics, the blessings of youth, or some other factor? You're free to call me in now on 636-7547, 227-5739. If you go to RCLU 975 FM, you can also post your comments there. Coming up at 4 p.m. is Major News with Nicole Duki. Hello, good afternoon, welcome.
Wow, I got you so easy. Good evening, Miss Anne.
Anne, yes.
Where the other dish, you not there?
She will present the 4 p.m. newscast.
Oh, I thought I'm making sure listening news. If I ain't going to turn on news,
Make sure you have the right D.
I will listen up. I ain't going to use up all this. All I go years after all.
Oh.
I'm putting up my head.
So what's up?
Plenty things watching the checks. But I hear the
How do you feel about these new cases of coronavirus spreading?
Well,
Find it spreading too rapidly?
Well, it was kind of expected to a point where, because of the fact, we open up. But the thing about it now, the challenge we having is the influx of the illegal
immigrants, yes.
And that is where we kind of losing the battle to a point there. But besides that, we had it.
That is where they lose the track.
But, I want to commend the people of Princeton because I saw yesterday evening and the day before, everybody plenty and then all the Goshen and thing. Everybody have on. I see increase in the mask wearing now.
Yes, I have noticed that also.
Right, so a lot of people kind of gone, and that's so nice, because the people
that is, of course.
You're protecting yourself, plus
and you're protecting the life of others.
Yeah,
obviously.
All right, I'll lock on and listen.
Okay, are you busy? Are you campaigning? Are you campaigning with your candidate?
I was undecided, but I was in the middle, and I got my cars are both by make up my mind that I'm still on the.
You're on the Princeton area, is that right?
I'm in Princeton,
okay.
Princeton, President. I was in Princeton.
Okay, Mr. Morales, thanks for calling in.
Take care, bye. Yeah.
636-7547, 227-5739. What is the biggest challenge a government faces now with COVID-19? Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have just indicated in his press conference that as far as in food establishment and bars are concerned, there must be a gathering of no more than 10 until further notice. That should become law by Sunday morning. It has to be gazetted and all of that. I don't know how he did not address this issue with taxi drivers and maxi drivers where they are overcrowded. In the traveling public's eye, many people have expressed to me the fact that in taxis and in maxi taxis, they should be limited to the number of people that they are carrying because people are sitting too close to each other. 636-7547, 227-5739. After the 4 p.m. news, we will go on to call some of these candidates that we have lined up for interviews. There was an example where a steady, healthy spreader, the person feel fine on Saturday night. But by the time they came down with the telltale cough, fever, and fatigue by Monday, they would have potentially infected multitudes. Right? Meanwhile, what could be an even more elusive bunch is people who are infected with the coronavirus but never ever feel sick. In the United States, they make up 40% of the infections, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Right now, as we stand, the total number of cases worldwide is 17,401,496. Those are globally. Number of deaths are 675,167. The number of cases in the United States is 4,536,240 persons. And the number of deaths in the United States is 152,878. Those are the people who are infected with coronavirus, which weighs heavily on the minds of all our citizens. As the caller before indicated, he is seeing more and more people are wearing the mask. I am also. Hello, good afternoon, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Good afternoon, Miss Anne.
Yes.
Sorry to, I hope I'm not being a nuisance.
No, you're not.
All right.
The lines are open.
You know, I think I heard the Prime Minister say that they're not going to take any, they're buying time to see whether in fact things are going to worsen, right, before taking
More drastic measures.
more drastic
Yes.
measures. Well, I don't know. I've been watching, what's going on in the United States with Cuomo and all these people. And one of the things that remain in my mind is that once you have a community spread and you have one case, all it takes is one case to spiral out of control. And the thing ended up being a disaster or catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
And I am saying that one of the things that they say, you must be decisive and quick. You don't wait. You can't wait until next week or next week to see 15 people. By the time you're waiting, the thing's spiraling out of control. So once you identify, you begin to work on it. You don't wait to see whether it's going to get worse and the risk and whether we're risky and according to it, we have 15 people with it, then we're going to take action. You know for a fact that there's a community spread and you act.
And yet they are not sure of the number of people out there who have the virus and they don't know. They are not
And then the other
tested.
thing about testing, it's universal, it's practice, it's best practice that you test. He's saying that all we testing is we don't test Vicky. But the fact remains that there's no systematic testing in the country. And you tell me about we don't go here. I don't know. I mean, these scientists we have here, they seem to be better than all the other people where the pandemic or the epidemic has been raging. I don't understand that. It's totally contrary. And all I can tell, I have to take that advice for myself also, in the sense that, people, even if the advice is not given by the government in terms of people not traveling in vehicles with 5 and 4 and, they do that. The other thing that they need to do, some people, again, avoid this crowd and all this sort of thing, right? The other thing is that people who are over the age of 60, 65, people with underlying conditions,
Of course.
grandparents and whatnot, this is what I learned from out there by listening to what is happening outside there. And this is the best practice they can do now. People have to take care of themselves. And don't rely with this nonsense about we waiting to see till next week and we will see what. No! You have to be decisive and quick in dealing with this thing.
So you heard the status, the documents I read from the Centers for Disease Control. They say there are many people out there with this virus who display normal symptoms. And by the time they find out who they are, they would have come in contact with hundreds of people.
They are asymptomatic.
That is why you need to test.
You need to test, and you have to be systematic in your testing. You have to lock down certain areas where you find, as he said, I heard him speak about.
Well, I think they should go community and test.
I don't understand what it is they're really telling me. There's no urgency as far as I'm seeing to deal with this. And this thing, I'm fearful that this thing is going to get...
Well, it seems like as though they are waiting until the ship hit the iceberg.
Well, it may be too late.
Yes.
That's the whole thing. And I'm saying that the infrastructure, the health infrastructure is very weak, and I know it's going to be chaos. People might be all on the street, all in the courtyard of the hospitals lying down there. No beds, no nothing, no doctor. People they don't have, I don't know if they have PPE, personal protective equipment. I don't know how much they have and whether they have ventilators, how many whether they, I don't know. But the point about it, when you have the experience and the best practice is that once you have to be decisive and you have to be quick. You don't wait to see what it's already there. You have cases, you find cases there, and you have to take definitive action in dealing with it. That's how you operate.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 636-7547 227-5739. Good afternoon. Well, we lost that caller there. Continue to call us back. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Chris.
You know what I didn't hear at all?
What is that?
How we dealing with this inflow of people
The
from
illegal
South
Venezuelan, yes.
And
The-
that is the biggest
That's-
risk we have right
Well,
now.
that is the major problem.
We have the biggest risk, and nobody say one thing about it. You know?
I thought the Minister of National Security would have addressed that.
But he can't address that because he's not doing nothing. We just say, I ain't do nothing, and throw my hand up in the air. And that's the greatest risk to this country right now. Let me tell you something. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Pinal awash with Venezuela.
Oh, boy.
Awash. The friends say, oh, God, go to Pinal. Like a carnival day. Venue all over the place. And next time I see Paya the same thing, Palo Seco the same thing. This country have more venue than Trinity Walking Road. And this man is, nobody say nothing. The Prime Minister coming talking, the Minister of National Security, nobody say nothing about that. But as a matter of fact, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning from Jamaica. He told me, say, Christian, what's happening? Venezuela take over Trinidad, you know. Venezuelans have more right to than Trinidad people. And a lot of the work that they're going to set up now, the venue going to be working. The venue going to begin working. So Trinity better watch it. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. 636-7547 227-5739. If you wish to get in on Politics 2020, if you have heard the press conference with Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, he spoke on some new measures being taken. One of them is the gathering in bars and public restaurants have been reduced to 10 persons. Hello, good afternoon.
Good
Yes,
afternoon.
good afternoon. Very well.
Well, me a lonely ranger today.
Partly.
You see, Trinidadian, the belly too full. Trinidadian don't know what they call hard time. You see them anyway come here, them know it's hard time. That's why they run. And Trinidadian, if you call a Trinidadian to give him a day work, he wants $450, $500 for the day. And you call a Benny doing the same work, $200, $250, and he works harder than the training. He comes to work for 6:30, 7 o'clock, and he going home until dark for that pay. Training is training at 8:30, and 4:30 they done work. They tell you that they work. You understand? I'm here telling by way nobody say, I tell you where they work for me and doing all that. Right? And they're working real hard. And we get better Benny treatment than we train treatment. Better job, better everything. Yeah. All right.
All right, we have to go to the 4 p.m. news very soon. Continue to call us in. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ann.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, when you go to the polling station, they're giving you a sanitized stamp, right? That is according to what they say today.
Yes.
When you go by the ballot box and you vote, you have to bring out that stamp back, you know, because no unauthorized person can go in there to take up stamp and bring out. They go put ballot paper inside the box, you know. Thank you.
636-7547, 2 minutes before the top of the hour. Remember, you can also post your comments on WhatsApp and on RCLU 975 on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube, where you can also post your comments there. But let us take a top of the hour break as we go to the 4 p.m. newscast with Nicole Dookie. Stay tuned.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 975 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is the 4 p.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Nicole Dookie. Good afternoon. Gatherings are once again reduced to groups of 10. This is one of the announcements made by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley today. He was speaking at a media conference. This comes in light of the recent cases of COVID-19. This new change takes effect from tomorrow.
We have now to respond, and we are going to respond, not through panic or through overreaction, but we would respond now to reducing the amount of contact that is likely to happen. And to do so, we would go back from the groups permitted, groups of 25, going back to a permitting of groups of 10. So we will change the regulation and reduce the number of people who are congregating or allowed to congregate.
The Prime Minister said places of worship will be allowed to continue their business.
But we will maintain our protocols like the numbers at funerals, numbers indoors, numbers in churches where you observe the wearing of the mask and the social distancing. We're not changing any of that.
The Prime Minister also indicated that the public service will also cut down on its employees. This, he said, will continue for 14 days.
So the next thing we do is that we would ask the public service, through communication between the CMO's office and the public service groups under the permanent secretaries, to reduce the amount of public servants who are out at any one time. And the way to do that is to either have them come to work alphabetically or rotate them by days for the next 14 days, next 2 weeks, and see if we see anything that warrants further response. If nothing appears that requires a response, then we come back to where we are now.
The Prime Minister said schools, restaurants and bars would be monitored in the coming days. Another school was closed today as a result of COVID-19. Meanwhile, in its 10 a.m. update, the Ministry of Health said there were 5 new cases of COVID-19 in Trinidad and Tobago. According to the release, the source of 2 of the cases is not yet known. This takes the number of positive cases of COVID-19 to 169. The 3 other cases are primary contacts of a recent COVID-19 patient. And the Siparia District Court was closed today until further notice. In a media release from the judiciary, there were concerns that an employee at the court may have been exposed to COVID-19. The judiciary explained that the employee may have been exposed to a primary contact of someone who has tested positive for the virus. As a result, no in-person hearings were conducted and the building had been closed for sanitation. A date for the reopening of the building is yet to be announced. In some other news, the United National Congress candidate for Moruga Tableland, Michelle Benjamin, is promising 3,000 jobs for residents of Moruga Tableland. She was speaking at the party's virtual meeting last night. Benjamin cited unemployment as one of the issues affecting residents there.
A new UNC government commits to our UNC Plan 2020. Lower corporate and personal taxes. We will create 50,000 jobs as preached by my political leader. And guess what? We're bringing 3,000 of those jobs in the first year to Moruga Tableland.
Benjamin accused the government of neglecting the people of Moruga Tableland.
How dare you, Mr. Rowley? You have insulted every single constituent of Murga Tableland. You shut down the refinery, costing us not just jobs at Petrotrin, but the little food sheds, the parlors, the fruit stalls, the doubles man, everything was closed down. Oil workers from Catskill and Coruscant would keep these businesses alive. Once Petrotrin was closed down, they also had to shut down more people on the breadline, more mouths to feed, more hunger, more strife.
You are listening to the 4 p.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. It's time now to take a look at regional and international developments. We start with news from the region. A new joint report from the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean and the Pan American Health Organization said economies in Latin America and the Caribbean can only be fully reactivated if the curve of the COVID-19 pandemic is flattened. In a media briefing, PAHO Director Dr. Carissa Etienne said countries must avoid thinking they must take a choice between reopening economies and protecting the health and well-being of their people. The report outlines policy recommendations to tackle the challenges across 3 different phases of recovery: control, reactivation, and rebuilding. Meanwhile, the PAHO director called on countries to invest the recommended 6% of GDP, which they are supposed to, for strengthening health systems. Internationally, Vietnam has recorded its first COVID-19 fatality in a devastating blow for a country proud of its 0 deaths. The victim was a 70-year-old man. No new infections had been reported for more than 3 months. Vietnam, which has a population of around 95 million, has reported just 509 cases since the pandemic began. Unlike many other countries, Vietnam acted before it even had confirmed cases. It closed its borders early to almost all travelers except returning citizens. Anyone entering the country must quarantine in government facilities for 14 days and undergo testing. In news of the weather for the period this afternoon and tonight, Trinidad, Tobago, and the remainder of the Lesser Antilles will experience predominantly sunny conditions over most areas, with 1 or 2 showers during the afternoon in a few areas. There is the 40% chance of a thunderstorm along western and near hilly areas of Trinidad. Tonight will be clear with a few showers after midnight. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding may occur in heavy showers and thunderstorms. Seas are moderate with waves up to 2 meters in open waters and up to 1 meter in sheltered areas. The current temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. And this brings us to the end of the 4 p.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Stay tuned for another newscast at 6 p.m. I am Nicole Dookie. Good evening.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Shake Leisure Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality, unbleached, bromate-free, all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shikleisha Limited, 665-3336, or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shikleisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia, for all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters, and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax, and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BTCino, Leviton, and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia. Nupia.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations. Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, for Talk Your Talk. Talk Your Talk.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hello, I am Rajendra Rampersad, your PNM candidate for Couva South. I ask for your support to take Couva South into government and to improve the quality of life for all of us. I have specific plans to create jobs, develop our youths, improve agriculture, infrastructure, and security. As a person born in Dow Village, California, and started my education at Esperanza Presbyterian School, I want to use my years of experience as a successful businessman and a resident of Couva South to partner with you to make our communities better. I have been listening to your complaints of non-representation in Couva South. It is time for a change. I ask for your vote on August the 10th. Vote Rajendra Rampersad, the right choice for a better Couva South. Vote PNM.
That was a paid political announcement. The following is a paid political announcement.
This ad brought to you by the PNM.
PNM is the choice, PNM is the voice, PNM all the way on election day is the right choice at the right time. Hands in the air for the parties, hey.
On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
Thank you, Nicole, for that 4 p.m. news update. Listeners and viewers, if you have just joined us, so welcome on board. You can also log in on YouTube on RCLU 975. You can catch us live there. And also on Facebook on 975 FM Multicultural Radio. We say good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers on this Friday. Sunny Friday evening, 9 days before the general elections. How do you feel about voting on election day with this threat of COVID-19? Will you be going out to vote? Now, I was listening to Michelle Benjamin there, promising the residents of Moruga Tablan 3,000 jobs of the 50,000 jobs that the opposition leader have promised the nation. She said 3,000 of those jobs will be for the residents of Moruga Tablan. But let us take this caller first before we continue to discuss that. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, the Honorable.
Hello. Hello.
If you're
I'm here. Yeah.
Nicole is there?
No, not. She went back to the newsroom.
Oh, so it's you alone, Lone Ranger? Yes. All right. First thing, I want to go to the head of the function. You see that man? Sorry, the Honorable Pipman. Why is he suffering from amnesia? Because he made a statement where he was telling the whole country that 5,000 going out and 5,000 coming in. And he tried to say that that is where the Honorable former Prime Minister got the 10,000 from. He has to be suffering from memory. On July the 13th, on the daily newspaper, 10,000. The Honorable Pipman say 10,000 out there. That is when the lady was crying. Remember there's a lady who had a video crying to come back in?
Mm-hmm.
He responded in a derogatory way about the lady, saying, what we going to do? It's at 10,000 only out there. So that is where the 10,000 come from. Is he saying it and he continues to tell untruths? I don't want to use the lie word. But why is he so? Why is he misleading the country? That got me annoyed, and I turned off the television when he comes to, when he comes to tell us the untruth. He has said nothing about, he still continues to say close down the border. But he ain't closed down the border. The border is porous, and we have to find out why are they leaving the southern peninsula porous. What purpose it serves. It has to have a hidden agenda. Why is that? Is it a channel to facilitate trade? Because, you know, we trading down there for the longest while. People go in and come in, people go in. So if Delcy want medicine could go there. If Delcy want food stuff, she could go there. If Maduro want food stuff, it could do there in a clandestine way. People have to think outside the box. Why are we not using the 14 boat as
12,
and say pack up there and not shutting down the border as it's truly warranted now? And we're not talking the truth. We always say further investigation. Is these refugees a source for concern? Now, the other thing is in Maruga. Maruga looked like it's a heated battle. This young lady said 3,000 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what the captain, the ship is sinking man say? He going to provide jobs for them to plant marijuana. He tell them go and form a company, a legal company, to legalize it so they could start a marijuana industry. And the counterpart up in Chaguanas is giving out seeds and seedlings. I wonder what seeds and seasons he's giving out. So those are the two things get me really riled up. People must not tell the untruth. That is bad. And to all my Muslim brothers today, I want to wish them Eid al-Adha. You know, let them have a peaceful, because I see the Prime Minister winter must do again, you know. And he look like he fall asleep again. Watch at the picture on the newspaper, look, he fall asleep. So I say he's staying too close to AKA Rip Van Winkle. You know Rip Van Winkle, the man
of course.
who's sleeping on the education system. They don't know what to do. I think they should build a stage in the sea and have the CA on the stage in the sea. It might be better. Water for all. Everybody go get water. Have a nice
All right,
day.
thank you. Thank you for calling. You know, one of the things in the press conference that I disagree with is the fact that the public transport continue to remain intact. The Prime Minister says it is under watch, right? It is under watch. They should have made immediate changes to public transport. It is one of the easiest way to transmit the virus. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ann.
Yes, welcome.
Are you going to vote?
I haven't made that decision yet.
So if UNC win, you think we'll have a change in the country? Let's say come 10th.
What change are you talking about?
Well, better schooling, the crime will be
well, you know,
lower
every
rate.
party, let me state this, it is election time and every party will claim that they can do better than the other.
Because they want to win.
Of course.
Okay, well,
it is up to you. It is up to you, the voter, to make that decision.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
You have to know where you are living, what conditions you are living under, whether you think the present administration have performed well, whether you have proper health care, education, or people look at other things like crime, corruption, access to public utilities like lights and water,
of
right?
course.
How they handle the influx of illegal immigrants.
That's right. Yes.
Right? And unemployment is also a major factor.
Right.
Public transport, road maintenance, and so on.
Yes, and we know how to vote if we want all those things.
Well, every party, as I say, it is election season, and everyone will have their hands in the box. Everyone will say they can deliver it.
And what about the COVID, the community spread now? How much they get so far?
The figures?
Yeah, well, community
I don't
spread.
have an update right now for the community spread, but it was the most this week than it have ever been. And
That
they
being
have
said,
also realized that some of these spread come in from the illegal immigrants that are coming into the country.
Yes. And
So
they're spreading it.
remember, when they come into the country, they are not tested.
Of course, yes, and they're coming through borders where are not checked.
And I don't know if you heard the opening of my program when I spoke about how there
Yes.
are some people who are asymptomatic. That means
Yes.
that they may have COVID, but they would not show any symptoms of the virus.
Yes. And
So
they can spread it.
yes, so you will have, let's say, Mr. X feeling fine on Saturday
Uh-huh.
night. You will meet him, shake his hand, hug him up. But
That's
by
right.
the time Monday reach,
Yeah.
he would have come down with the telltale cold, cough, fever, fatigue. By
Yeah.
that time, he would have potentially infected dozens of people.
Exactly.
Because
And that is-
how many persons Mr. X would come in contact with from Saturday night until Monday?
Yeah, that is why we have to wear masks and sanitize and all
And
that.
keep your social distancing, yes.
Yes, yes.
And try not to mix with people that you don't know, go in places that you don't know. This is why I asked the question, why did the Prime Minister not address this issue with public
Yes.
transport? Because
Yes.
if you sit in a maxi or a taxi jamming up
You're
to each
jamming
other,
up people, yes.
yes, he should have reduced it back. He didn't have to reduce the maxi to 7 people like before, but
Yeah.
he could maybe have 2 persons in a seat. You know, you could have 3 persons
Yeah.
in the front seat, have 2, every other row skip 1, something
Yeah.
like that. I'm sure they could work out something.
Yeah.
Right,
But everybody jumbling up together and they will get
He's
it.
also saying that the population in South Trinidad is not taking this matter seriously. I
Seriously, yes, yes.
wonder what he means by this. Does he mean because of the borders being open? Well, then why doesn't his government address that issue with the border?
Yes, yes.
They have
Illegal
12
immigrants.
They have 12 boats parked up there that could patrol the seas, and they are not utilizing it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anne. I'm listening.
Okay, take care. 636-7547 or 227-5739. Let us say hello to this caller.
Hello, Anne.
Hi.
I am going to vote,
Okay.
but I will wear my mask and sanitizer. In my bag, I always have like a small bottle of hand sanitizer.
Very well.
I always
The Prime
do that.
Minister is stating that they cannot force anyone to wear a mask, but it is for your own protection.
I will wear my mask, sweetie. I will wear my mask. And a man was telling a friend and I, right? He said he lives in Seattle. And every night, this man said they see a boatload of Venice coming
Yes.
here. And they're hiding, and then they're sending them to quarantine in Shagarama. So who paying for that?
Pardon?
They're sending the Venice in Shagaramas to quarantine. Who's paying for that?
Well, it will be the
And he
government.
said, well, right. So what is the thing about it? You want to stop the COVID, then close up the borders totally. Send a Coast Guard, send more of them down there, teach each place, and have them watch over it. But I hear too how they spare the Coast Guard and them. I just, it is
Well,
a
yes, that have been a rumor not only today, a long while now.
Well, right. So where is it then? What is it you want to prove? What? I don't understand. I guess I thought you had a postponed election, you know.
No, Doctor, I don't think Dr. Rowley would do that. Even the
No, he
political analysts and them, they have also said there's no need to postpone the election.
But you say
If they use proper health measures and people adhere to it.
if we get more COVID by next week, then make another decision.
Well, he didn't say on the election, you know.
No, he didn't say so. But
He
I
said the
just thought-
CPL will go on for the players.
So you agree with that, Anne? Do you agree
Right.
with that?
He said political parties engaged in campaigning must abide by the 10-person congregation rule. Political leaders are urged to follow these guidelines. So
No,
he has
but
reduced
you
the number
actually-
of public persons from 25 to 10.
Yeah, I know that. Because we're supposed to go to a Christian land tomorrow, and it was postponed. But do you agree with the CPL people will come into play? Despite what you say about quarantine and not being with public and things, what do you think? I disagree, no?
Okay.
All right, and thank you.
All right, take care. 636-7547-22757. 39 are our numbers live in studio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon, 97.5 family.
Hello, Larry.
Well, I just heard you use a remark of what Dr. Rowley said that people in South not paying attention to the health
Yes,
guidelines.
he said that. I heard that with
I
my
want
own
to tell
ears.
Dr. Rowley that he's either one thing, either he is, I'm not going to criticize anybody, I think he's blind. Because when you watch at Facebook, social media, with some of the pictures that some of these activists are posting up, practically everybody is not wearing masks, they're not social distancing. And I'm saying it again, they have made the wrong choice and the wrong decision at this particular time in controlling this COVID-19 in Trinidad and Tobago. Are we going to be an epicenter in a short space of time to come? Imagine PTSD buses going to be run fully loaded. Maxi taxis, normal PH taxis, taxi cars, even people who are going to tongue in the vehicles, normal as ever. And you are telling me that bars and school, you have identified where the cases are coming from? You have to be more clear on that. And I wonder if Dr. Roshan Parashram was part of that decision today to drop it back down to 10 people for gathering. Because when you look at places right now and in the country, as I said before,
They are not adherent to even 25.
nobody is paying attention to COVID-19 because the election snake is in the air, the election fever is heating up, and people just want to make sure that they can be seen on television, hear their voice be heard, and they just want to get into office. But you know what? When the election is over, you're going to hear a recount. You're going to get a recount, and nobody's still going to be taking on the COVID. You know what? I sent a picture to Kenrick today and showed him that, yes, I have converted from a mask to a face shield because I know what it is like. I mean, I have a cousin who died in the States. His mother couldn't even see him because they cremated him the next morning without getting to see his body. And when she explained to me how it was for him, because he called me the night before he died, you understand? And we talked. And I can tell you this much, COVID-19 is not a joke, and
It's
people in this country
horrific.
just do not understand. And the Prime Minister and them have made the wrong decision today by allowing this country to carry on the way it's going on. And all these political analysts and all these the authorities who are saying there is no need to panic. Let me tell you something, and a regular old person will go in the hospital to get some medication, and they cannot even get it. You think we have enough needles and ventilators and
Respirators and
eye drips,
special
eye
beds.
drips. Do you think we
yes.
have all of that to really manage something in this country? Because here what, Ann? The Minister of National Security had stated some months ago, in order to get an exemption to this country, you have to do your test abroad, and it must be in his hand and his desk for him to give the approval. Isn't that what he said?
Yes.
So then tell me, Ann, find out from a doctor, if when they come here, how come they're showing positive? Tell me how come they're showing positive? Is it that now the test that we are using in this country is not really guaranteed to give accurate results? Because there was a time China had sent us some kits. You remember
Testing
that?
kits, yes.
Good. And there was a cry over the world that China is selling defective kits to
Defective
countries.
kits, yes.
I wonder if people remember that. I wonder because I have dated everything on a flash drive.
That
from
was the
time-
beginning of COVID.
That's right. And I went back and I searched and I said, well, wait, are we getting some faulty kits in this country to do testing people? The next thing, we are not testing people fast enough. We are not testing
Well,
enough.
I keep making that point. If you are feeling well, would you go out to test? You are not likely to go.
Well,
That
listen,
is their
Anna-
biggest challenge.
And I love my life. I love my life, right? And I'll tell you this much. If I'm not feeling well, I will go to the health center, which is nearest to me, which is in Davie, Wellington Road Junction. I will go there. And if they
But
find something that's wrong
generally,
with
that
me,
is you. Generally,
well,
the
I love
biggest
life.
challenge they face, right, from studies
Mhm.
done, is that people who don't feel sick, they are not likely to go and get tested.
Okay, Anne, but look at this. I am asthmatic, right? I can walk into the health center and prove that I am asthmatic. And if they test me and they find I have COVID, I'll say what? All I do what I have to do. Me I resist it. Because you know why, Anne?
You
I
love
can
your
infect-
life.
I love my life. And I can infect thousands of people because in my day work every single day, I come in contact with at least about maybe 300 to 500 people a day
Right.
on my daily work. So I want to make sure that I safeguard other people and safeguard myself. But the Prime Minister today, he has failed me in making masks mandatory in this country. He has, and the Minister of Health also has failed me. All the time I keep saying it, they were going good. They were going good until week before the last. Now there is a sporadic spread in the country. 26 cases if Mina Maraj really wanted to know. 26. I'm keeping track of it, right? And today you telling me you're not going to do the right thing by reducing what you have put out for the first 3 months when we got the imported cases. So then, and tell me something, the imported cases that we got when we first started the lockdown, that was a joke then. Because look, what you have today is real cases now in your country that is spreading by people in your country, not imported anymore, and you're not doing anything of locking down. Is it the money done? Is it that you're lost for ideas? Is it that you come to a point where you know election around the corner, whether you win, loss, or draw, it don't make a difference
if it
anymore?
gets worse, they don't want to put off the election.
But I want to tell Minamara something. Minamara, listen to me carefully. Even though if UNC win the election next month, right, coming up, you cannot see a change in this country. Not right away. Not even for the first 3 years. Crime will not decrease. Education will not be the same as before because COVID-19 is here to stay for a good while, right? So it will not be better off.
Dr. Fauci just made a statement that a vaccine will not be available to the end of 2020.
Let me give you a story yesterday with one of my customers. A new customer I picked up yesterday, and this person is in Dabity. I'm not going to call the customer name. She told me her husband got sick in October last year. He got fever, dry cough, runny nose, watery eyes, loss of taste. And when they went, well, 2 of their families are doctors, and when they did tests and everything, he had water in his lungs.
Wow.
You know what you know what was reported in October by those 2 doctors who did the examination on him? It's a sign of COVID. And when that was? October last year in Trinidad and Tobago.
Of course, we know that it was present
Right?
before, but they didn't want to shut down Carnival.
Good. So here what, Anne? Maybe every single human being in Trinidad and Tobago may have COVID-19, and it's just waiting for a matter of time to manifest itself in a bigger way. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. It's time for us to take a short commercial break. It's 4:30 on the dot. The calls keep coming in. Let me take this last call before I take a break. Hello, good afternoon.
And good evening.
Good evening.
I just want to make a little statement. When bringing people from overseas, the government saying that we don't have place to quarantine them. But how come they find in place to quarantine the lawbreakers who is coming in through our closed borders? And where they finding the money from to quarantine these illegal people in this country? And the next thing is that when the UNC win election, the government, this current government, are they going to change their story then and call for people to come into the country for the government now to open the borders and all this kind of thing? Are the PNM government going to change their story when they come in opposition? I wonder. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Listeners and callers, let us take a short commercial break, and when we come back, you can call in on 636-7547.
Kathy's School Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liquor, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's School Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia, for all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters, and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax, and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BTCino, Leviton, and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations. Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba for quality items, super quality supermarket, and quality cash and carry supermarket.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hello, I am Rajendra Rampersad, your PNM candidate for Couva South. I ask for your support to take Couva South into government and to improve the quality of life for all of us. I have specific plans to create jobs, develop our youths, improve agriculture, infrastructure, and security. As a person born in Dow Village, California, and started my education at Esperanza Presbyterian School, I want to use my years of experience as a successful businessman and a resident of Couva South to partner with you to make our communities better. I have been listening to your complaints of non-representation in Couva South. It is time for a change. I ask for your vote on August the 10th. Vote Rajendra Rampersad, the right choice for a better Couva South. Vote PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
I have journeyed.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, Jesus is the answer.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, for Talk Your Talk. Talk Your Talk.
The following is a paid political announcement.
When I look back on the last 5 years, as a young working mother and wife, I have to say, things were so difficult. Going to the grocery, my salary could have barely made ends meet. My husband lost his job at Petrotrin. Our home is falling apart. We couldn't save. My daughter was born in the time of the UNC. I felt so confident that she had a bright future. God forbid, if this PNM returns, my household will be finished. On August 10th, my unemployed husband and I will be voting for our lives and our future. We will be voting UNC.
That was a paid political announcement.
Welcome back, listeners, and to all our viewers on YouTube on RCL U975. To those who are streaming live on the World Wide Web, also welcome back. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ann.
Hi.
So, I'm trying to get a sense 4 o'clock after the news time, but...
Oh, yeah, the lines have been busy. Go ahead.
Like here now, man, like you do that telephone something.
No, like what?
Yeah, no, I don't. Maybe you're attracted to the phone or something. Or,
Well, there are
know.
lots of callers.
So, yeah,
That
what
is
happened?
good. That means that they are listening.
Yeah. This Celestine girl that fighted us Maruga table dance.
Michelle Benjamin.
And she now committed politics, so she was there all the time. yeah.
She have been a counselor at the councillor level at the Princestown Regional Corporation.
Yeah, but she supposed if she had that skill, she's supposed to know long before that you don't get 3,000 people to work here. She should know that. If she in the council and she could get 3,000 people to work when she in the council, then I could have given she, but not when we are sure she will win this seat to get 3,000 people to vote. But she is one of the persons who will know that banditry that caused Maruganda to get developed, they're blocking the road and threatening people, and they have some gangsters get threatening the people, polo tire on the road, and don't want the people to keep the job being done. She know all that. And when she come on a platform and say that to the people, then she loses points gradually because the people then know that. So these people have to be very careful. And then after you say what the opposition leader says, you take it from she and you're telling the people that make your own way.
Well, you know, in this poll that was done by the Trinidad Guardian, the HSB poll, right?
Yeah.
As far as unemployment and jobs is concerned, the party best capable of solving unemployment, the PNM got 40% and the UNC got 34%. Right?
40 by 34?
Yes. And 19% don't know. So that says a lot.
But this is what I'm saying, that if she read through the lines through that, and she see what is going on. Now, I feel sorry for some of these young politicians, what's going on the platform and saying things, what they want to throw, somebody write a script for them and all them things. But you have to be sincere. You can't give nobody job when you're in opposition.
You know, Kola, she's a youth, she's a young person, right? Going up for a seat. And this issue with youth training and development, let me just engage with you a bit so that the listeners could also hear this.
Yeah.
Whereas youth training and development is concerned, the PNM got 46% of the votes, the UNC got 29%.
You understand?
17% say they don't know.
No, is she reading all these things, or is she going through all these things to see what is
No, I don't think this poll was aimed at favoring the PNM. It was done randomly. In the last general election, this poll was the most accurate poll that it has.
Right. But what I'm saying, you have to go through all this data and then before coming on our platform and saying this kind of thing and having the people that wonder, so. I am telling you, I know from on that banditry gone total people, the port down, I don't know if she talk about Venezuela, and I'm sorry, because the boat down there in Malgod have been Venezuelan society. So I don't know what she talking about. But these young people have been misleading.
Well, she can't be talking about Venezuelan because when interviews were done with the people of Moruga Table and they're not concerned about illegal Venezuelan.
You see, you understand? So all these things. But for young people to be going on our platform and sitting like pointing an arrow and all that. Look, she talking about Petrotrin, right? She know she have an opposition, who she leader, right? Let me say, ask the question to the opposition leader. Could you maintain Petrotrin when you was in government or you could not? And then open your mouth and talk, because if she could have maintained Petrotrin when she was there, she would have get some businessmen in the UNC to buy up the refinery and give people jobs and all them things. But she knows she couldn't maintain it. She had tell nobody nothing. And she borrowed money to maintain it. And all these kind of things. And having people talking foolishness on the thing. And young people, you can't train young people that way now. I'm sorry, but I had to say so. Later on.
Okay, thank you. 636, listeners and viewers, 636-7547. 2275739. I was referring to this poll, but let us hear this caller first. Good afternoon and welcome.
Right, good afternoon, Anna.
Yeah.
Anna, I realize you're favoring that poll.
Well, the poll was the most accurate one in the 2010
right.
and 2015 general elections.
I will tell you.
I am just presenting the facts, what it say.
In the augment, it was right. It was like throwing the dice. They got it right. I don't believe, looking through the poll, that is reflective of what's going on. For example, youth employment and development. Let's be honest. All the youth employment and development, activities under the previous partnership government, everything was most of it was shut down by the PNM. Let's be honest. All you have to be honest as hosts. That is honest.
Well, listen, I am presenting the facts out there. You as the caller or the voter, you as the caller, you can't tell that.
Of a poll. That is not fact.
Yeah, but I said it is the poll. You cannot say it's not accurate.
Right, but you said fact. No, I'm telling you my opinion.
Right, you are free to express your opinion.
Any poll, you could get two sides of the coin. It depends on what you're looking for. And I'm telling you...
That is why I give you a chance to speak.
Right, so that is why I'm telling you, based on the two government, the previous one had a lot of activities for youth employment, I think, and this current government shut it down. For example, the young lady said 3,000 jobs. I don't create employment, I'm not anything, but if she says she has the vision to do that, if you...
Why when Mr. Clifton Decoto was here, they didn't employ more youths? Why there were so random youths unemployed in the area?
How many youths
I'm
they
very
employed?
familiar with Moruga Tableland, you know.
No, but how many? I never went to Moruga Tableland, and I really don't know. But the fact is, we had a position, and we went to another position, and it's worse.
You had young people sitting at the side of the road doing nothing. Unemployed.
All over the place. That is what is happening. If you go to Fitz's constituency, you will see that all over the place. because
I
a
have
lot
been
of the
doing stories on
activities-
Moruga Tableland maybe over 21 years now, and they have the same complaint again and again.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Government
I don't
come,
think that is
government
what we
go.
have to look at. A lot of the countries is like that. Look at Laventille for 55 years. It's basically hasn't improved at all. The current MP can't even walk through his own constituency. He has to go with four police van behind him. One of the things, I think the previous caller was asking about why they didn't keep Petrotrin afloat. We haven't gotten the real facts. Petrotrin was profitable. Petrotrin didn't depend on the state for any intervention. The former energy minister said it. Look at NGC. We haven't seen the P&L, profit and loss statement of NGC for the last 3 years. Let us see it. Let us people put it out. Let people see that it's shareholders' own, because there is a school of thought that they basically is significantly less profitable. They might be in the red, they say, but they're not telling us.
Hold on, let me ask you something. What would influence you to vote?
I already know what I'm thinking. I want to see progress. I want to see the youth. People invest in the youth, give them a chance. For example, education has fallen apart. I have two kids going to school, tertiary and secondary, two of the best schools. They have all the devices. If they were going to any of the other schools, and these are denominational schools, they would not have gotten it. You understand? Because if you invest in the children, you have a strong PTA, it'll lend itself to thinking. Look for it. You know what has happened to Trinidad and people and the Ministry of Education when we studying to build stage? They're telling you online classes, right? Let me tell you. You know the internet service is poor in Trinidad?
Very poor.
I wrote to one of the major providers. I say, well, let's fix it twice.
And you still have to pay for it.
Let me tell you, they come back to me right away and do it. I had to write them back again. I went in person. I copied the Ministry of Education with the complaint. Nobody responds to it. You want to do online classes and you don't have the service. That is why I don't want to call the name. And I'm telling you, and
Well,
the
it
ministry
is-
don't have a clue. They don't have a clue, or they don't want to address it.
Two main providers we have, and the service is about the same.
It's poor. It's poor. And I tell you, I had two. One in med school doing online classes and exam, and it was only shutting down, and I had to have backup supplies at other two households in case it's doing the exam. I had to run down. That is how I tell you how poor it is and damning.
And maybe you could afford it. What about the parent who can't afford it out there?
It's fortunate I can mitigate some of it, but there's a lot of them who have problem. And if it's not, if it wasn't the internet, current going regularly. I don't know what they bring back on for, all over the place. So you have to mitigate all of those things. And you have to make it easy for the child. You don't want to stress out the child, but as a parent, you have to see from a distance what problems
What you
will
could
come
do
up
to
so
assist
to
them,
smooth
yes.
it out. You understand? So I know that this current government is not worth its salt. They continue. Remember the first comment I made? He blaming Camera for 10,000 and he wanted to know where she get the 10,000 for. He said it on the newspaper. It on the newspaper July the 13th. He had said early in the clock there 30,000 people in Brooklyn want to come in the early thing when he locked down. So I don't know. That's why I don't like to be derogatory. That's why I'm calling Pitman. He find it convenient. You understand? I blaming them for this COVID crisis. They didn't lock down the borders. They keep the borders porous. There is an agenda, a hidden agenda. And the DLC man will come out, you know. They will come out to see what they were basically coming. That is what this whole election is mitigating about the truth. They don't want the truth come out. You understand? I go on.
Okay,
Sorry to
take
be so passionate.
That's okay. You're free to call in and express your opinion. We welcome all views on the station. Good afternoon.
I forget one thing to tell you. I disappointed in the Prime Minister news conference this evening. I was expecting him to tell the Commissioner of Police about that 12 vote that the regiment have, for the 12 vote we're talking about. I was expecting him to, I was expecting the journalists then that sit down there to question the Minister of National Security concerning
why he not utilizing the boats exactly.
that. I was expecting these dumb set of journalists that sit down inside here.
I tell you, yes.
Why they could have asked the minister one time, you know what happened? We can't trust these people coming from Venezuela morning, noon, and night. We expect they have COVID-19 morning, noon, and night. What are we doing with the 12 boats that pack up down in Shagaraman? Or wherever I pack up? Why we not utilizing it? And let him give an explanation. But I tell you, I don't know where they get it. Anya, but you better go back and one and place and work. I feel you will do better than the radio, I feel. Because you giving everything on the radio. These are that dumb journalists that don't in front of the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, and refuse to ask them why they're not using the
Well, I don't know what type of journalists they are. They don't ask efficient questions. They ask things that a kindergarten child will want to know.
And some of them, when they're asking a question, they give you a whole lecture. And then they ask a question. So then, I don't know, but anyway, I expected the journalists them to ask the minister.
I thought they would have pressured the Prime Minister a little more
why you're not using the
on certain elements that he left out.
Exactly.
Right?
But I don't know. Anyway, later. Yeah.
Okay, take care. 636-7547-227-5739. Some highlights from the Prime Minister's press conference. Right, as of tomorrow, congregation of persons in public spaces will now go back to 10. The number for funerals and churches have remained unchanged. Good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon, and let us call and talk about the Moruga UNC candidate.
Yes.
He said that she should go and ask the leader about the petrol train when she run it, if she should have stop it up or close it down.
Mm-hmm.
This Prime Minister said we're not shutting down
petrol train, yes.
So who would I go and ask him or you say that why you shut it down? And you say that with confidence, we're not shutting down petrol train. I wonder if he's hearing that. Is he said the Prime Minister said that and he shut it down? So what he talking about? Go and ask your leader if she would do that. By the way, I'm sorry to say this, but don't get offended. But if them media personally ask hard questions like all you wanted, then they would end up like Ken Ali. Sorry about that.
All right, sir. Thank you. No, the point is that they don't ask effective questions. They should ask questions in the interest of the public. We don't have journalists today as we did 10 years ago. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Duki.
Duki, yes.
Well, I was going to say the same thing that the gentleman said just now about the territory. And then I have been saying this for the longest time. I'll be asking 97.5
to attend the meeting, yes. Well,
and they said they applied and they get through up to this
well,
day.
yes, they have not given us the invitation to do so.
I do agree, but them Dolly House playing question that they asking. I know when you ask a question and they give you an answer, you could ask a question from inside that answer. That can happen. Right? So I don't know what Dolly House they're playing.
You want to make another point, sir?
That's it, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. 636-7547-227-5739. It's going up just about 5 minutes before the top of the hour. One of the other things the Prime Minister spoke about, he said we will keep an active watch on the SEA date. Whatever he means by that, whether he will cancel SEA, would he come up abruptly and say SEA is cancelled? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, welcome.
I concern a lot about the COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I find it strange that looking at it from a lockdown point of view, if they had to interview one person from every household and test them, this would be over in lockdown. Because if you have 1.5 million per person in Trinidad, and you have roughly five persons per house, it wasn't all that difficult, and it wouldn't cost all the resources.
Well, I've been, to prevent community spread, I've been saying that the ministry should go into each communities and do random testing.
It's very simple. All you have to get is some mobile unit with the 40 minutes that they are testing, and test one person every household, and if you test the most active person,
you know long ago how you used to have to get vaccinated against yellow fever and so on?
Yes, ma'am.
And use the same method.
Yeah.
And go into each community and do that.
And this will be behind our backs long time.
Well, it might not have been behind our backs, but it would have been better under control. They would have had a better control over it.
Definitely. All right, have a nice evening.
Thank you. Coming up to the top of the hour very shortly. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Triple D.
Yes, Mr. Triple D.
We want journalists like Robert Amar, but they don't invite him to ask if he questions, otherwise the Prime Minister would apologize. And secondly, some of what Gun lawyers, you don't hear them, they're coming out because some of them have buildings rented for the government. For instance, the courthouse in Santana right now, I see the owner campaigning for Gypsy recently, trying to get the Muslim together. Ramesh Mahal has his building there, you know what they're talking about. So these fellows are coming out the battle, they create afraid they might not get to the contract. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have just about 2 minutes to call in before the top of the hour if you want to get in on Politics 2020. When we come back in the last hour, we will be discussing that Moruga table and seat again and some of the details about the voting pattern in that area. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Anne.
Yes, good afternoon.
I did not admittedly hear the presentation because I was involved in a regional meeting.
Oh.
Suffice it to say that this thing is very inconsistent. It's from 25 to 10. If you do it for one sector, you have to do it for all.
Do it for all.
You understand?
Of course.
This thing about SCA, okay, you have about 4 schools now forced to close.
He said we will watch it.
Don't wait till next week to come out clean and say, look, people, the situation is such, we don't know. And then with the size decreasing again, we don't know what will happen during the course of next week. And as a result, we will go back to the original plan or suggestion of having the SCA in October. It will
of course.
Or you develop where you use the highest marks of all students over the given period of school and you set up some kind of system like that. So you have 2 choices. Either you do a SCA or you use the markings and the tests that were done previously to place students because, it's the only thing that could be done under the circumstance. Now, I heard after that, I don't know if it was the same thing or if it was an extract from another program, the Attorney General and the thing talking about some of the things. I don't know.
It was another program.
It was another one?
There was only the Chief Medical Officer and the Minister of Health.
That was something else?
Yes.
Okay, right. As I told you, I was in a big meeting, a regional meeting, so I couldn't really focus.
But, one of the major challenges that they have, or the biggest challenges they have, is that, if you don't feel sick, you're not likely to get tested, right?
Right.
This is why they should go into the communities and do random testing.
And remember the olden days, they used to use schools, they used to
yes, and you had to go and get your yellow fever vaccine and all of that. You had to.
They could continue to do that.
Of course.
Understand?
Yesterday I was speaking about the threat of dengue is still there, although COVID-19 is there, and I was given some statistics yesterday. That threat is still very much alive.
So I think they're failing because even if you say you test 6,000 people in a population of, let's say, 1.4 million, that is just a minor percentage of your entire population. And when I talk about 1.4, you include from babies right up. But if you want to eliminate certain categories because you think
and you believe in your heart that these categories are not likely to get COVID.
And what about the asymptomatic COVID cases?
But so what you do
Those
is
that don't
start-
display the symptoms but they carry the disease.
Exactly, and then what you do in a circumstance like you start from the senior citizens come down. You know, so you have 1 day for senior citizens in a community, so the people don't have to walk far and go and look for 10 maxi to go here, and the maxi can't pick them up. You know, all kind of madness. So bring the thing to the people, right? And as I said before, what is good for one is good for all. If 10 people could gather, don't use it conveniently to say, all right, in a political rally. Because I heard Fitzgerald Hines on our program yesterday talking about, I'm walking about, and I have 120 strong people, and we want to destroy the UNC, blah, 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 blah. You understand? So let's be fair. What is good for one is good for all. Thank
Of course, thank you. Well, one of their major challenges is that you have healthy spreaders. As I indicated earlier, you can Mr. X, you can interact with him on Saturday night, but by the time he comes down with a telltale cough, fever, and fatigue on Monday, he would have potentially infected hundreds of people. You're listening to Politics 2020 on U975 FM. And remember, we are also on the World Wide Web streaming and also on YouTube Live on RCL U97. We'll take a short commercial break and we will be right back.
Time has come. U97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 975 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia. For all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters, and water pumps. Plus all parts for Gould, Pentax, and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BTCino, Leviton, and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia.
I have journeyed.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, Jesus is the answer.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liquor, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This ad brought to you by the PNM.
PNM is a PNM power. PNM, a positive healing power. PNM, moving forward together. PNM, super, red. Sprinkly water, red. Dancing from the air, red. The sweetest, yeah, red. Sprinkle everywhere, red. Well, your body's a hit, red. Don't you come to ice it.
On August 10th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
That was a paid political announcement.
asking is that you pay close attention to the many problems we all face from dawn to dawn. You're intelligent, I think, and you should face issues, but you're behaving like a moron, cussing me for way I born, but you pipe and no water. You pay too much for butter. Take your steel beam and go. The terrible school system is such a bloody problem. Take your steel beam and go. Agriculture's in a state, planning is inadequate. Take your steel beam and go. The northern and southern idol, the two kingpins are bubble. We know, we like it so.
This is Caribbean Vibe.
We like it so. Anything that's wrong, he go put it right. Georgie Budgie tell me the other night. So instead of displaying impatience, cool yourself and give the fella a chance. How the hell you could say, oh, and I go do better? We go send you back Grenada in a drum. We and Georgie going to put it right together, yeah. We have freeness and freedom, plenty roti, plenty rum. Hospitals have no linen, it's brown paper they're using. Take your steel beam and go. Public transportation is an abomination. Take your steel beam and go. Well, food, clothes and rent is proof. Cost of living gone through the roof. Take your steel beam and go. Classified information for personal gain is common. We know, we like it so. We like it so. We're free. Sparrow boy, you need psychiatric aid to be the bourgeois people motorcade. Me afraid to tell you straight to your face. You're back in a jackass in a horse race. Georgie say all you ain't getting one damn seat. Oh, and I'll come out to mama guy. Bokassa say how all you going to feel the heat. The penalty to oppose is high. That's political suicide. We can't get house, so we squat living with cockroach and rat. Take your steel beam and go. Your cesspit flowing over, you could catch yellow fever. Take your steel beam and go. Soldier in bulldozer, break down the shack in mover. Take your steel beam and go. It's plenty sexual favors to be a 10-days worker. We know, we like it so.
This is Caribbean Vibe.
We like it so. We're free. It ain't have a single thing you could say could make me abandon me Balize. No steel beam go fall down on top me head. Sparrow eyes a PNM till I'm dead. Buddy, you may be shocked when I tell you this. Hudson Phillips is a Yankee CIA, and the whole of ONR is only communist. They take carnival away and make people work each day. This year's you in a union and can't get recognition. Take your steel beam and go. The unemployment levy murdering everybody. Take your steel beam and go. college below elementary knowledge. Take your steel beam and go. We grieving with frustration through maladministration. We know we like it so. We like it so. We see.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
This concern that you showing here for we could well cost you your popularity. Francisco, how come you understand? We ain't want no blasted opposition. Just like Georgie Porgy, I done sharpen my guilty, waiting for the opposition till anytime we catch them only backpedaling. I ain't even want no bail, I ain't afraid to make a jail. Food you could produce here is imported from elsewhere. Take your steel beam and go to fish in your own water, it's jail in Venezuela. Take your steel beam and go. No one to devise for we a good foreign policy. Take your steel beam and go. Bribery and corruption control every decision. We know we like it so. We like it so.
Welcome back to Politics 2020. That is the mighty Sparrow. We like it so. We have, let's see who is on the line here. Hello, good afternoon.
Good evening, Miss Dukel.
Dookie.
Dookie. I'm so sorry.
You renamed me?
No, I should be more circumspect than that.
Eric, welcome.
That's Sparrow, reflecting on the
Yes,
elections
it's
after
Sparrow.
1981.
It's
Yeah.
Sparrow, of course. I said
Those
so.
are the days, yeah.
We like it so.
I remember my political leader, George Michael Chambers, said, they are too wicked, not a damn
Seat for them. Yes, yes. You know, I had, in doing my research, I pulled out some of the quotes, some of the memorable quotes of our past leaders. One of these days, I'll go through them.
But I don't know how you could remember those things,
Why not? Why would you say so? I remember when George Chambers, even though I was a child, I was
You
always
was in
drawn.
kindergarten.
I was always drawn to politics. I'm so young. I remember when Chambers was elected prime minister, appointed, I should say.
Well, let me tell you, I'm disturbing your piece, Ad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if you have any residual money, any little money you're not using and things. If I could get some.
Oh boy, that don't happen with me.
You see, I was so aghast today when I heard the political leader of UNC explain that the leader of the leader of the PNM was misleading the country when they said she was going to interfere with UTC funds.
Mm-hmm.
What she was going to interfere from UTC is funds that they're not using, the funds that are not gaining any interest. It appears to me the funds that the UTC have no use for. I did not know such money existed.
Okay.
I mean, I hear about backup money and all kind of things, but I didn't know what kind of money existed. And let me say this to you. If the UTC has funds, it is part of what buttresses the UTC and makes the UTC a sound financial investment for anyone investing in the UTC. Anyone who tinkers with the funds of the UNC tinkers with its foundation. And when someone can come here and tell me that they're going to take money from the UTC in order to invest in all kind of harebrained schemes, let me tell you something else. Something I was reflecting on recently. Do you know what happened in cabinet, in Kamla Prasad Vises's cabinet? Winston Dukaran came to the cabinet and said, Let us keep Arthur Lockjack as chairman of CAL. It's doing well. It's making a profit. He's managing it good.
I saw your post today.
And you know what Anil said? Anil said, no way, Lockjack staying. You have to go now. You know, Kamala Prasad Bisesa took Anil's advice instead of Winston Dukaran advice. And what happened? CAL was run to the ground. It started to take up losses like you'll never see before. $1.2 billion in losses. Larry Hawaii had to fire the chairman and say the man was doing craziness. I wonder if it's the same reasoning they're going to use when they try to tinker with the UTC funds. Because all of my friends who have monies in the UTC asked me, well, what is going on? I said, well, you have to wait and see. If this really and truly does happen, you might very well see people thinking about placing their funds elsewhere. Because you cannot tell me that you're going to interfere with the funds of the UTC and not shake its foundation. That cannot happen. And the funds of the NIB and all is also in toss-up. But you know why Kamala Prasad Bisesa have to go to those funds for money? If you have a strong idea, something that is going to work well, the IDB will fund you. They will fund you because they will see that you are making an effort to do something different and something that is going to yield. But she cannot go to the IDB and the IDB with those ideas that she has. They have no basis in economic reality. The fact is that they have no economic plan whatsoever that can be endorsed by any economist of note. Everyone has sprung their ideas to be quite harebrained. They have no value. So at the end of the day, whatever they plan, they can't go to anybody with credibility with it. So they have to take the funds that is already have existed in the state and risk the money that people have invested in the UTC. What madness is this? I don't know how they can come up with these ideas because these ideas frighten people. That is where they have the life savings in UTC. People work hard and they believe that when they retire, the NIB is going to be able to give them a pension. You want to interfere with that too? What madness is this? And you know something? If she ever went to the IADB with any of these schemes, the first thing they would tell her, you are not collecting enough revenue. Only collecting 60% of the revenue you're supposed to collect annually. Find a way to fix it. It has to be a revenue authority. They would not do that. Why are people not paying property taxes? Everybody should pay property taxes, some form of it. Implement it. She would not do that. So that is why she had to talk about using UTC money and NIB money. So it will go the same way as NGC 16 billion that was fitted away under her regime. God help us. Have a nice evening, Ann.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. 636-7547. 2275739 if you wish to get in and have your views heard on Politics 2020. Let's hear this caller. Good afternoon.
Eric, like you borrowed that script from the Prime Minister, boy.
Go ahead, make your point.
In the same fashion. Now, I don't think people have a problem paying property tax. The problem was, it's not sometimes what you do, it's how you do it. And remember, prior to 2009, there was a land and building tax?
Yes.
Which was extremely cheap, let's be honest. It was extremely
Yes, it was.
Right? Now, if they had said that we're going to raise those land and building taxes by 10%, 15%, whatever figure you want to use, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Incrementally, over a period of time, you might have stopped paying $10, you might be paying $100, right? But you would not have felt it. But what they did, they say, all right, you're going to value your home at a certain price based on what you have, how much bedroom you have, how much toilet you have, and 3% or whatever percentage. So if your house is valued at $300,000, God alone knows you must be required to pay $3,000 per year. Correct?
True.
I'm just giving a rough analogy.
Yes, a rough analogy.
Which would be far more than if you say, all right, you was paying $100 for the year, you will now be paying $300 because. You understand? So I think that is where the misconception is. And I mean, people were saying, well, look, I sacrificed, I build my home, I take a loan, I do what is necessary to get my home, and now I must. Now, it's a kind of a selfish thought, but at the same time, you see, if they had done it incrementally, raised the land and building taxes incrementally all over the country, people would have paid. The other side of the coin is WASA, which is the worst public utility. You understand?
And continues to be.
Continues to
Minister after minister have changed, and it have not improved.
Remember, at one time somebody made a statement that there were over 2,000 employees excess in WASA.
Yes, I keep referring to that in a report by the minister, past
And
minister.
he then imported.
He said that he is not going to fire any of them.
Yes.
That is Robert Lahunt.
Right, the imported minister.
In
Robert
an interview, he said there were 2,000 excess employees,
Right,
and he is
but
not
they didn't want to
getting
send
rid of
home
any of
anybody.
them. Exactly.
You understand? So, when the economy is down, we all have to sacrifice, and when the economy is up, we all have to benefit. You understand? So,
Well, who is going to boost the economy?
well, that
Which
is
party is better suited to boost the economy?
that is the billion
Well,
dollar.
that's an analogy that Ved Seram will have to do with me on Sunday on 10 to 1.
Yes, that
Yes,
is
he's joining me on Sunday. Don't forget that.
Well,
Reopening of the economy, which party is better suited to handle that task?
So I think Eric and the PNM sycophants, just like the UNC sycophants, must stop reading the script of everybody and analyze for themselves and then make a contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just remind our listeners that on Sunday when I host 10 to 1, I will have Mr. Ved Seram with me, former CEO of Citibank and...
Please try your call again. If you need assistance, dial...
And our economic expert, he will be joining me on 10 to 1 on Sunday, as well as I have an interview lined up with Garvin Hira, former head of the Operations Center, as well as the candidate, the UNC candidate for Barataria Sawa, that is Saddam Hussein, on Sunday. Hello, good afternoon.
And
yes, welcome.
Who is Mr. X?
Pardon?
Who is Mr. X?
Oh, I just named a person as Mr. X. I'm telling you that any person, I could name him John or Tom or any name I can say, Hollis. Any person, they can be infected and they don't carry symptoms of the virus. And they can interact with a group of people, let's say Saturday night, and they feel fine. But by Monday morning, they come down with the telltale cough, fever, and fatigue. And by that time, they would have potentially infected dozens of persons.
The first time this thing came out, right? I went to Shogunas. I had no face mask because it was his first time. And Gail, when I came back home, I get one fever. I get one fever. I said, what is this? But I took my paracetamol and thing, and by the next day I was okay, you know.
Yes, well, you probably didn't have COVID-19, but there are some people who are asymptomatic. That is that they have carried the disease, but they don't have symptoms of it. They don't display symptoms of it. Well, they don't feel sick. Maybe their immune system is strong. But they can be a carrier.
Like AIDS then?
Pardon? Well,
Like
probably.
AIDS.
Well,
Some people
I'm
have
not a
it,
medical expert to analyze it with AIDS, but let's put it this way. If you don't feel sick, you are likely not to get tested. Right?
All right. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you. I'm making the point that people who are not sick are not likely to go and get tested. Hence the reason why the Ministry of Health should go in different communities, each community, and do random testing. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ms. Ann. I agree with your position with that, because, again, I'm saying we need to look at best practice and what happens outside and what has been successful. And if we look in the United States and other European countries, you have mobile. So you find that they move around with the vans or whatnot, and they test the people in the various.
Do you know, caller, let me just engage with you a bit. 40% of the infections in the United States, right, according to estimates for the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, are people who are infected but they don't ever feel sick.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact, asymptomatic. But that is, they have discerned that months ago, right?
Yes.
Very early in the game, they discerned that people were not displaying symptoms, yet they were infected and they had the potential of spreading it or transmitting the virus. You see? And I'm saying, and we should know that. And when I hear at the news conference today, the issue, what the justification for not engaging in the kind of or ramping up the testing, I mean, I was a bit, shocked.
You were taken aback.
Yeah, because this is what people are doing in not just in Europe, even in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. Grenada has tested much more than Trinidad. So it's something that this government knows that those other people don't know. Because they are the ones, all in Africa, in Kenya, all about it. They're testing
Right here in Jamaica.
Right, in Barbados, in Grenada, in St. Lucia, they are testing more than us. So there's something that this government knows about testing that they need to...
They need to step up their act on that.
To the other countries. That's madness. And I'm saying that I agree with your position in the sense that you have people, vehicles and whatnot with those people moving around. Probably going to a community, like if you're going to Diego Martin, you're going to Partner, you're going to those other areas.
Yeah, but listen, man, when I name a person Mr. X or whatever, it could be anybody. They could be going partying Saturday night, and they can come in contact with literally hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And God knows how many of them will become infected. And so it will spread.
Yeah, but the other thing about it here is this, is that why they're not, I don't know, you see the question of the class structure in this country here. Because most of the people who rely on public transport are the poorer people. And
Precisely so.
And they are the people who are most vulnerable. They live in those plannings, and they live in areas where, if you live in a planning, you have to hold stairs to go up. And if somebody is infected, right, you can easily contract it. You have transmission. They go in a taxi, you touch the door, somebody went in there, right? And all these things. So I'm saying that they need, otherwise they're going to wipe out the whole of the east-west corridor. If they don't deal with those with that whole issue of reducing the number of passengers in those public transport vehicles, it's a serious matter, and they need to deal with that. Another thing I want to talk about is the question of the tax, the unemployment. The survey said some 40% said that the chances were much better in terms
under
of
the PNM, yes.
I mean, you have rational people in Trinidad. I know that, but you have very irrational, some people who are not rational people. And I'm saying that in the last 5 years, we see the closure of Petrotrin. Did that create job? That was job creation. We saw ISCOT or ISPAT or whatever it is. We saw those plants in Point Lisa.
There were 11 plants in Point Lisa that have mothballed. Right? 11 of them.
Unemployment. So I don't know where this poll, what kind of poll is that? And I'm saying that I am very skeptical about polls. And since the 1990s, I remember somebody did a poll and said that the NAR or some party or the thing is the UNC would have won the election. And it was the reverse, was a landslide. And the very sad night, I put on my television during the celebration at Barry House, and I saw that pollster, right, celebrating. And I'm saying here, I am saying here that I'm very skeptical about that. And that very sad pollster has since gone into oblivion.
Well, so, I present the poll records for not every listener may have access to it. Yeah. I present it on air to get people's views so that people like you will call me in and tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, because I
whether for or against.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that most polls these days, they have been discredited, right? Even in the United States. And even in Europe with Boris Johnson, you had in England, you had the American polls and more recent polls. You find that people are very skeptical about it, but they've been proven to be wrong, right? But I'm saying in Trinidad, given the nature of the politics here, politicians, I have said it already, they have their pollster, they have their policeman, they have their reporter and journalists, right? They have their political commentators. Everything here, there's no independence. You can't rely on any pollster outside there. You can't rely on journalists. You see how when they go to post cabinet and post, how they behave, because they're aligned. They're aligned, so you can't rely. There's no confidence in those people in Trinidad yet, because everybody in Trinidad, most people here, could be purchased. They give them a job in some ministry, in some company, and they are some communication specialists, and they go on there. Lawyers get briefed. This one gets. That is what it is. Once you hang out some $1 here, They gravitate into it. They could be bought and sold in this. That's the problem with this country here. So nobody speaks truth to power because everything is what is in it for me. How can I benefit from that? What scholarship I could get from the child? And all that is the nature of Trinidad. So it's a frightening thing, you know. And I don't know where we head into. I don't know how this country is going to change. But that's the stark reality. That's the fact. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. 636 7547 2275739. If you wish to get in on Politics 2020, we have the last 15 minutes of the program. Mukesh Baburam is up with Talk Your Talk to have you rolling over with laughter just after the 6 p.m. newscast. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened? A lady called to find out who is Mr. X, right?
Yes.
I want to appeal. I know where she's coming from. Now we have one Mr. X working with 104.7.
Oh, I just named the person X randomly.
Yeah, I know, but it's an alias name, you know, a nickname, Mr. X.
Yeah.
But his name is Mr. Small, but nevertheless, the lady may get carried away with the word X.
Oh, I see.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Yonan.
Yes.
You know, the presentation with the Prime Minister earlier on, you know, he asked Dr. Parashram a question, and that had to do with refusing people entry to vote.
Yes.
And he was trying to tell Dr. Parashram, so what about the emergency powers in the CMO? Dr. Parashram skillfully avoided that question.
Yes, I saw
because
that.
Dr. Parashram understands
I was looking
that
at
the
it.
CMO does not have authority over the Constitution.
No, he does not.
The Prime Minister believes that the CMO's authority extends beyond the Constitution. And Dr. Parashram just did not go down that road. He tried to get him to say he could stop people from voting. Dr. Parashram didn't take him on at all. Thank God, he have a intelligent man there. He saved the country, and he and Langdon push him down no road. He stand his ground. Thank you much.
Thank you. What I am a bit concerned about is the fact that the Prime Minister made reference to South Trinidad. He said that the population in South Trinidad is not taking this matter seriously. Said this virus has no respect of race, class, or politics. I wonder if he was referring in particular to all of the illegal immigrants that we have entering this country through our southern borders. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon. I felt he was making reference to Georgia UNC supporter from down that side. He was just showing some of the UNC leadership I would take.
So you think the UNC is only in South?
Well, somebody, you know what now? I want to discuss the Murwah table and two things. The poll that came out recently, I thought the UNC had put a candidate who was strong on the ground. You know, that was her. I was shocked to know when the approval rating among the girls was that weak. I was shocked.
Her ratings were, yes, it was below mark.
Yeah, I was shocked. I would have thought where the previous representative, Christian Koto, would have done those. I would have thought that was a proposal on the ground. Well known about whatever as a circuit. I thought so. I was shocked. And secondly, her opponent, again, I was shocked. I felt that the recent coalition he had would have had some kind of impact in these kind of people strong upon that sort of behavior. Apparently, he was more popular with what came out in the Martin Miyakawa court. I was amazed at that poll. I am still shocked. I'm still shocked. Thank you for the time.
Thank you very much, sir. Hello, welcome.
And who says South China taking this seriously?
The Prime Minister. Those are his words, not mine.
I want to ask the Prime Minister, the cases they discovered so far, what if I
let me quote him. Hold a minute. He said, the people of South... just give me a second here. Right. He said the population in South Trinidad is not taking this matter seriously. This virus has no respect of race, class, or politics.
Well, I want to ask the Prime Minister, the local cases, where did they find them? Arriba and Marabal? That in South Trinidad?
And
what
why?
do you expect
Why?
South people to do? You expect somebody to take fishing boat and go and block the Venice on them? He is responsible for that. He is not taking this thing seriously. He is not taking the Venezuelan infiltration in this country seriously. And that is where the threat is. So apparently he very much asleep. Somebody better wake him. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, could you like to talk about the testing a little bit? Somebody called us talking about the street testing. I want to know how these callers got themselves tested. I mean, because Trinidad they can't force people to test. And it's up to people to go volunteer and go
Well,
to
this
test.
is what the point I keep making is that generally, not only here, worldwide, the biggest challenge in COVID-19 is if you don't feel sick, you're not likely to go and get tested.
Yeah, and also in Trinidad, once you're positive, you have to go into Cora or
Yes, you have to go into
somewhere.
quarantine.
So nobody who not have no symptoms or mild symptoms is going to get tested because if they're positive, they're going in Cora for a week or 2 weeks. So a lot of people would not go. So I mean, it's a problem of the people say increase testing. But how are you going to do it? Because people are going to volunteer.
This is why I keep calling, sir, for random testing throughout communities.
Yeah, but if people wouldn't go forward, I mean, you can't force them. Even if you bring a mobile into an area, people wouldn't go forward. Because
What if you could encourage them?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I mean, so, and all over the world, they have a criteria for testing. I mean, they must have symptoms, they must have, not that anybody can just walk up, but I think the fear is also that if you get positive and you have to go in, they'll take you in the Cora one time, and I think that people kind of afraid that, and got to stay there for a week or two, so that'll just keep back people as well.
Well, you know, there's emergent evidence that suggests, this is reports from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in the USA, that their people immune system are so built, it might be a factor in those who get mild or barely noticeable
So anybody get mild and
cases.
cough,
Yes.
they ain't going for no test because they're afraid for us.
They might get a little fever and take two
Yeah,
Panadol and
even if they try to ramp up the
stay
testing,
at
it's
home.
very difficult, especially in Trinidad. People say, no, but me ain't going down there, no? So.
Okay, caller, thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
And if people thinking that if I test positive, they will send me in quarantine, so that is why I don't want to get tested. I want to have the virus and stay home. You have to be mad because you put your life at risk, you put your family at risk, you put your community at risk, your friends at risk. What kind of logic is that? I can't understand logic at all. When it comes to more testing, everybody who go to the clinic could be tested. Everybody who go to the casualty department could be tested. Government institutions, when people converge in like they have so many people in Mission Education working in the same office area, could be tested. So don't tell me the population have to come to be tested, and that is the only way you could have more testing done. That is old talk. You could go to different government institutions, into workplaces, and test people. You could call a company and say, listen, you want to come and test your workers there? You want to come and run tests? No company will say no, because the health of their workers means profitability for them. So this thing that the people wouldn't come out and that's why I can't get tested, that is a excuse for not getting the job done. Thank you much.
Thank you much. Good
I'm
afternoon.
sorry, you're not.
Call us back on 636-7547, 227-5739. Welcome.
And I again.
Yes.
Who put in this bill for the quarantine for the Venezuela, illegal Venezuelan down here?
It will be the government.
Who's the government? We, the taxpayers, paying for that, and which is bad. We are supposed to be send them back just so. Boy, I fed up. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, just asking again. I mean, this guy was saying to test people anywhere, but you can't force people to test. You can't just go in office and test people. I mean, people have to, you have to say yes, you have to consent to it. You can't just say, hey, come here and test you for COVID. I don't see how that is possible. I'm asking again, I want to know if any of these callers were they self-tested to try
Well,
and keep
that
them
is
open.
a good question.
They did their part and went and said, let me go and get tested.
Well, hello, caller.
Yeah.
One method or a solution could be before you enter any building, like a government building, they test you for your temperature, and if your temperature is above 37 degrees, you know,
Right.
you go for further testing.
Yeah, a lot of places do that, yeah. I even went to a Chinese restaurant and they're doing that. I mean, yeah, all about doing that. But the actual COVID test, I mean, they can't force people, and that's what I'm saying. They can't make people go and, you know. Okay then. Thanks.
Thank you. 636, we missed a couple calls there. Call us back. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. I don't believe people really don't want to be tested. Right now, I wish I could go and get this.
You think it's not readily available?
I don't think so, because if it really has it, and I mean, you take out $20 billion just so. You're getting help from outside. You didn't have to spend the money. You understand? So why you holding it back? You should be testing people. And because of the lies of the government tongue, people don't believe what they say. One of the things I agree with the Prime Minister is upon us, our behavior. And I really appealing to the people to have a good behavior and try and stay away. Because this thing really here to stay. It really here to stay. Just like everything else. All them, even a common cold, they never get rid of that. So it just coming up more and more and more. But people have to be more vigilant on how they do things. I agree with the Prime Minister, and I don't really agree with him too much. But it's upon the people, they have to protect themselves. Another thing, he talk about the people in South. All they know how this man has come to compare the South to the North, the East-West corridor, that's he own, that's PNM own, and everything else is UNC. So the bad behavior is coming from South. Don't mind they getting the COVID in the East-West corridor. That's how he is. Everything he say, it has to be Kamala. Anyhow, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon.
I just feel a contribution. I said, any company would allow testing in the organization because the health of their workers mean their own prosperity. I have a company. If I tell my employees you have to be tested and say, no, don't come to work. I'm not going to pay you. I'm not going to pay you to come here and spread a virus to other people. Don't tell me you can't be forced to do this thing. I can't hold a gun to you and say, go and get tested. But I could tell you, you're not coming into my office, you're coming in my organization, you're contaminating the rest of my staff. So if you don't get tested, don't come back. That is my right. Thank you.
Thank you. We have just a couple minutes again on the program, Politics 2020. Remember, I'll be back on Sunday with 10 to 1 with our political analyst, Zaved Siram, joining me in studio for discussion on the elections. And as well as I have an interview with Gavin Hira, former head of the National Operations Center, as well as the candidate for the Barataria Sawa district under the United National Congress, Saddam Hussein. He also will be interviewed. So you can join me on 10 to 1 on Sunday. Coming up just after 6 p.m. is Mukesh Baburam with Talk Your Talk. Let's hear what this caller has to say. Good afternoon.
Hi, Anne. It's me.
I thought you got COVID or something.
You know something? I have been calling your station, and I honestly have to tell you, I thought I was banned from your radio station.
Why would you say so? I didn't ban you.
Listen. No, because I call and I usually get through. So I want to apologize for thinking wrongly.
Do you know how many people? Look, you have Shiva Parasram putting on his headphone to hear you.
Seriously, well, I want to tell
Seriously.
you. Even though I thought I was banned, I still listen.
No, you
because
are
I
not
love
banned.
listening
You are
to
not
your
banned.
callers.
I didn't ban you. I welcome you on our program
Well,
all the time.
We won't talk about that. It was just my perception. And
Okay, you
I just
see,
want to tell you that I still listen to the radio station. Even though
Well,
I
thank you
talk.
for your support.
Well, I want to make a comment because
Go
one
ahead.
of your callers spoke about this COVID virus, and I want to tell you something, eh? I've been reading about this virus since China was building the first hospital. And I couldn't understand why China was racing to build a hospital. In 1 week, they built a hospital that could serve over 1,000 patients. And it was in the New York Times and the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal. Those are American newspapers that a lot of people read, and they have a lot of world news. And I just want to tell you listeners, the newspaper is online, and you could read little summaries about what's happening in the world. And you also will learn about trade and stocks, because we are part of that market, because we belong to the World Trade Center. We have a presence because of oil and gas. I want to say, this is a serious note, Anne. The Prime Minister is playing games with the future of our next generation, and he's using politics, and this virus is very real, because he knew all along we had open borders, and the Attorney General was standing with our Prime Minister along with the National Security Minister. They know that the United States and the world was watching our behavior with Venezuela. And our Prime Minister continues to deal with Venezuela. And he knows that the Organization of America, which is the United States, is the biggest funder, and all the CARICOM islands have one vote, and guess who's in it? Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, all these big countries that use massive trade with the United States. The United States is now in a big partnership with Brazil. Our Prime Minister is ignoring all of that, a superpower, and OAS, and CARICOM, and dealing with Venezuela. Who is running this country? You have children? Hey, here, man. My mother and I want to vote, because we know who we're voting for. But we know we expect more, And the truth is, I'm worried. Should I take my elderly mother out there? Because this Prime Minister kept those borders open, knew that people were coming in with children, with animals every day, and they ignored it. We had Trinidad and Tobago, we're talking about corruption, and it's happening right now, and our lives are at stake. Let me tell you something. That newspaper in the Americas, when you read it, it's frightening. Every minute, a person is dying. And all you want to see bodies on the hospital, people will be dying in their homes. We are going to wear masks. We are not going to socialize. When we buy food, we are going to take our food and carry it home. We are going to teach our children at home. Listen, this Prime Minister, I'm getting goosebumps speaking to you. But she's playing with our future because this is like a plague. When the plague came around, the people did. They went to their estates while the poor people who lived in villages died. This is going to happen again. But we could stop it. And we could change the direction because we're smarter now. We're not like the days in the 1400s, whatever, in that plague 1500 or whatever, when it came around. Well, I forget, it's a long time ago. But you know, understand what I'm saying? This is so important to us. I am frightened. I see so many people not wearing masks with children. And I'm thinking they don't understand the detrimental effect this could have on all of them. This is a real virus. I thought I had the virus, honestly, because I was coughing. I went to see my doctor.
Yes, the last time you were on this program, you had a cold or something.
Yes, and I thought I had the virus, and I went and I saw my doctor, and he said I was having anxiety attacks. He said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, I feel like the people here don't understand what's happening in the real world. And he started laughing. He said, "Yeah, you stop reading the news, just ignore it, and just kind of, stay in your own world." And so he gave me like a relaxation medicine, which really helped me a lot, and it helped my throat because it was tightening. If you're getting throat and you're feeling your throat
around election time, a lot of people are having those attacks. And
so we
maybe
need to
you should, I will see Sunday if I can bring on Dr. Varma Dayal Singh, who is a
let's talk about
psychologist. He wrote a wonderful article today on the psychology of elections and the impact it have, the effect it has on people.
It's just not that. This
on
is
their
our
minds.
future now. We have one shot at it, because this virus, this is like, I think, another plague. It is. And the world, this is a lot of countries playing politics, but economies are falling apart, and our government is talking about selling oil, an oil company, to union workers who we know are going to fail. This is the game they're playing now with our lives. We're done with these games, We want truth now, and we want a future. And thanks for giving me so much airtime.
Thank you.
You 97, thank you. I love you guys.
Well, that is one of our more popular callers. Let us see if we can squeeze in this last call before we wrap up for this afternoon. Good afternoon.
First of all, let me say what Madras. Now,
I know you miss her, you know.
As a government, when you as a government give 16,000 Venezuelans who enter your country illegally, legal status, and they could go and work, you don't think they will call their family in Venezuela, their friends? Hey,
they're getting license.
Come,
Chris,
what are doing there?
They are getting a driving license.
We get status out here. Will you come? So you could expect that more will come after that. So you ought to close your borders. I don't know. That is common sense. But
of
as
course.
they say, not common sense, not so common.
Not so common. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, folks. Do remember to wear your mask and stay safe. Maintain social distancing. Just want to read a little bit here for you. Just a couple lines. Published today by the National Prevention for Disease Control, that researchers are racing to understand the biology of these sneaky cases. That is, those cases who don't show symptoms but they possess the virus, and to develop models that predict how they might be spreading COVID-19. Emergent evidence have suggested that a mixture of genetics, age, and individuality in people's immune system might be a factor in who gets a mild or barely noticeable case. The biggest challenge in studying the symptom-free transmission is figuring out how it happens. If you don't feel sick, you're not likely to get tested. Is that right? Ask yourself that. I am Ann Dookie, signing off on Politics 2020 for this afternoon. Remember, it's just 9 days again to go before the general elections. You can join me again on Sunday on 10 to 1, where I have Gavin Hira, who will be coming online with me. Gavin Hira for an interview, the former head of the National Control Center, as well as the candidate for that Barataria Sawa seat, Saddam Hussein. Mukesh Baburam up next, just after the 6 p.m. newscast. Have yourself a wonderful evening.
Some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you live in here. In this